Hello and welcome back to my fantasy channel. This is AFL Fantasy video. It's not an FPL video. If you're here for FPL, please join me later today with my top transfer tips for blank game week 29. But hopefully you're here for the Australian version of football, the Aussie rules version. Yes, I've got my team reveal for the round one. I think I've got it locked, except potentially some rookies that may change with the teams that get dropped tomorrow or later today if you're watching this, whenever you're watching this. Without going any further, please smash a like on the video, share it with your friends if you're an Australian viewer and you play AFL Fantasy, and let me know in the comments what you would like to see moving forward with these particular kind of videos. And please smash a subscribe button as well. You guys can also help me get to 1,000 subs as quickly as possible. Without further ado, let's jump into it. So, round zero notes. What did we learn from round zero? Well, two of the games are washed away because of Cyclone Alfred, and that was really helpful because the two free looks we got, particularly at the Geelong and Brisbane teams, we didn't get a look at, and there were a lot of players in there that I really wanted to see. So now it's a little bit of guesswork, and I'm still going with my guesswork to work out whether it's going to be worth a punt or not. In terms of the Essendon Gold Coast game, the fact that that game's been moved off and put at the very end of the season, most likely as like a little bit of a precursor to a wildcard round, basically means that I've got zero interest in either of those two teams. Like, until they've had their early season bye at the very minimum. It's annoying because they won't go up in price extra, and they're extra games at the end of the season, so you're only really getting 22 games out of them rather than the 23 that we're used to. Not ideal. Really put their assets down the list for me. I've got no Gold Coast players in my team at all. I've only got one Essendon player as it stands, and that's Zach Reid, and that's just because he's a rookie. Otherwise, I wouldn't have any Essendon assets either. Also, doesn't give us a chance to look at Dylan Shield, which is annoying. And obviously, what did we learn from the games that we did see then? So Sydney versus Hawthorn. Hawthorn were dominant. Hawthorn looked damn good, to be honest with you. Sydney obviously were missing quite a few players. No excuse. They did make the grand final last year, and they got away with things like this, but I think it's just going to show that Hawthorn may be here to play this particular season. Collingwood were pretty damn awful. Smashed by over 50 points against a GWS team that arguably had massive names missing. No Jesse Hogan, no Tom Green. Like, those two names in particular, massive outs. I think Collingwood are done. I don't think they're making the 8. I'm just going to call it straight out. If you're a Collingwood fan, unlucky. Dacos is out of the running for me as well, particularly until he's dropped about 200,000, and I don't think he's an option. He looked absolutely cooked, and he didn't have any help. The only player that did impress me, in fact, there's two real standout performers for me from the weekend, 3 really, that I've moved into my team. I thought Callahan was amazing for GWS in that game against Collingwood. I also thought Harry Perryman was a really good option there as well. Definitely, I think, underpriced, and that role was real. Almost cracked the ton of it. He ended up with 97 points. A really good, promising performance. But Callahan was the one I really liked. 110, looked like he was doing it easily. 2 goals, 2 as well. He was hitting the scoreboard. That's exactly what you want. But the real standout performer from this round, we'll have a look in the details very shortly. Will Day announced himself playing this hybrid forward mid-roll, kicked 3 goals straight, 29 touches, 126 points or 129 points, whatever it was. He was just brilliant, absolutely brilliant, dominated in the conditions as well, and there's a lot to love there. And he automatically came straight into my team because his price is going to rise, obviously with the double bonus of rising twice in one sitting as well. And if he puts another performance like that, he's going to go through the roof. He's going to be $1 million within like 2 weeks. So, other things you need to know. You need to wait for teams to drop on Thursday to decide on which rookies you are going to select. At the moment, my rookies are still likely to change, and prioritize the ones that you think are going to be in for a while. So you don't want someone that's just in there covering for someone that's going to be back in a week or 2 and they're literally just placeholding until someone comes back in. You want someone that you can almost guarantee is going to get you 4 or 5 weeks, hopefully get some cash generation going into your team so you can improve and upgrade other players as quickly as possible. That is the aim of the game in AFL Fantasy. So that's the plan. Also, I wouldn't be loading up on too many clubs with the early season bye. Now, the fact that Geelong and Brisbane didn't play that game and they have a bye in the same week means that that game will probably just be played there. I think actually it's already been confirmed that that's going to be the case. So there's only 6 teams to worry about with the early season bye. That's Sydney, Hawthorn, Collingwood, GWS, Essendon and Gold Coast. Essendon and Gold Coast, I've got no interest in owning any of their assets at all until after that first season bye, and then working out how it fits into the mid-season bye structure. And obviously, the last point I'll note here, you want to try and prioritise value where you can, and I think that that's going to be super important early doors here. So, we have to give a shout out though, Will Day. What a man, 129 points. So he got this from 3 goals, 6 tackles, so 6 times 4 is 24, 3 times 6 is 18, 4 marks, 4 times 3 is 12, 17 kicks. That's what we love to see. A kick-handball ratio like that, that's brilliant. He literally doubled his handballs with his kicks. So 17 times 3, as we know, is 51, and 9 times 2 is 18. He got 6 free kicks as well, and none against. So that was just a bonus 6 points there. All combined for 129 points. Definitely the performance of the round. He got 10 coaches' votes as well. So did Finn Callahan, just to go to show that these players really kicked off the season in very impressive fashion, and they definitely need to be in front of your thing. Realistically, moving forward, I may do about I think I'll do the best fantasy asset per game moving forward, and I'll just do a quick recap of the round. Hopefully people enjoy that. Let me know if you did or not. So my team as it stood prior to round 0. Now it has changed significantly. Well, not really significantly, but I only had $8,000 left in the salary cap in terms of my team value. My team value I've actually made less, and I've left more money in now. As you can see there, when I get into my team that I'm going to most likely take in round 1, I've got $138,000 in the bank now, and it only equates to $17.662 million in terms of my team. But this is the team that, as prior to round 0, the players that I've now moved out of the squad are, I've got rid of Brett Daniels. Even though Daniels got 88, can consider himself exceptionally unlucky, I just think that wasn't high enough at the price he's at to warrant staying in the team. Isaac Rankin has now unfortunately gone out as well. I'm not overly sold on those moves, but I really like the look of Callahan, Perryman, and Will Day. So I had to make room for him somewhere. So those two, unfortunately, have cut the dust down there. In the defence, Josh Fahey's obviously been moved out for trainer, who's been named by Richmond to play. Kobe McKerch has also departed the team because, again, I couldn't justify the money there, and I've actually moved Bailey Smith to the forward line to open up another midfield spot, which is where I've got Will Day in, and then Harry Perryman's coming for Kobe McKercher in the back line. And yeah, there's a few different things. I'm now having to play 2 kind of budget players in the defence, which I'm not overly fond about considering I am going to be taking Sam DeConning as well. But that was what I was looking like prior to round 0. And this round 0's results, even though it was 2 games, there probably would have been more changes if there had been 4. There may still be more changes with the teams that get dropped tomorrow. But at the moment, based on what we know, who we're likely to see, this is the squad I've gone with for round 1 at the moment. So this is it. I've decided that Matt Roberts did enough in that game and he's going to stay in there. Trafalgar comes in with Traynor, obviously as those budget options in defence. Fahey's obviously not playing, and I've had to create room. So unfortunately McKerch has dropped out there in order to facilitate this. And these kind of things have to be done. Jaden Short's actually kicked the bucket as well. It's hard to back in. He's probably going to get a lot of the ball, but I think that I need some value, and I feel like that's the place where I wanted it, and I just wanted to nail those positions in the midfield, and that was where I was more important. You're going to make most of your points in the midfield and defence. You want to make sure those parts of the team are looking really good. And I've just tried to pay up for the majority of forwards I think I'm going to start. So, in the defence, it's got Sam DeConning, Matt Roberts, Zach Reid most likely to start, with Trafalgar, provided he gets picked for St Kilda, Jordan Clark and Harry Perryman. Now, I'm pretty damn happy with 3 of those picks, Matt Roberts, Jordan Clark, Harry Perryman. Sam DeConning's a bit of a risk, but if Reece Stanley gets named in that squad for Geelong versus Fremantle, Sam DeConning won't be in this team. I can tell you that straight off. If he is not named, Sam DeConning is in. That's how line ball that decision is. Bo Allen Luke Traynor, I'm not expecting massive things. I might swap the bench order around with Zach Reed and Travaglia, but at the moment, that's what I've settled on. In the midfield, this is where it's brilliant. I actually won't be playing a rookie on field at all in the midfield, except Levi Ashcroft or Sam Laylaw. I can't make up my mind which one I like there. Finn Callahan is sitting on the bench. He won't be sitting on the bench by the time the teams get locked out. So it's Caleb Sarong, Finn Callahan, Will Ashcroft, Clayton Oliver, Connor Rosie, Will Day, Nathan O'Driscoll, and then 3 rookies in the midfield. And to be honest, all my midfielders have some sort of value to them. I feel like they're all significantly going to rise in price. Will Day, Finn Callahan, they're 100% going to be approaching 1 mil, provided they both have good games this week. Clayton Oliver obviously looks like he's back in some sort of form. Connor Rosie just has to step up. He was injury affected last year. Provided he stays injury free, I think he'll be great. And Nathan O'Driscoll's going to be starting in the centre square because of the fact that Hayden Young's out, and he looked really good in preseason, so I'm hoping that continues. And Caleb Sarong starts there instead of Andy Brayshaw. I just think he's going to start the season better than Andy Brayshaw. Andy Brayshaw seems to work into the seasons a bit more. In the rucks, it's still Xeri. He's definitely going to be the captain most likely this week as well. And Tom DeConning. Like, he's got Richmond first up. Nankervis this isn't the easiest matchup, but he sort of does his own thing. But without Pitnet in the team, Tom DeConning is going to be rucking 100% full-time. So I just think it makes a lot of sense just to go with him. He's more value than obviously chasing a Max Gawn. And provided he goes up in price, then we should be looking pretty good. And Max Gawn can obviously sit there. I've actually got the money, I think, to bring in Max Gawn. I just think that it's better to go with Tom DeConning at this stage. Obviously, I've moved Bailey Smith into the forward line with Jack McRae, Riley Sanders, Caleb Daniel, and Jason Horne-Francis has come in here. That's 5, hopefully 5 forwards I don't have to think about. Sam Davidson's probably likely to start in front of Isaac Kako. Or Isaac Kako. I just think Isaac because it's obviously FPL. And then obviously Murphy Reed's on the bench. And Harry Boyd obviously is on the bench for the ruck position is there as well. I think this team's really well-rounded. So I just think that potentially I may have to move some of these rookies around or other players depending on the teams that do get announced just before the Carlton-Richmond game on Thursday night. But at the moment, as it stands, Day, Jason Horne-Francis, Perryman, Traynor, Trafalgar and Callahan have all been added to the lineup since round 0. So that's only a change of like 6 players in total. So I'm pretty happy with the way the squad is looking at the moment, and I'm pretty confident taking this in. I have left myself $138,000 left in the bank if some of my picks go horribly wrong in round 1 and I have to move elsewhere in round 2. Because there's always that one pick that you don't get, or you see something early and you're like, oh, I didn't see that in preseason, or there wasn't enough info to judge off preseason. So I'll definitely be looking to do that as well. So that's my updated team as it's going into round 1. I'm pretty excited for the season to start. I'm excited to watch Fremantle. Obviously got 4 Fremantle players in my squad. I'm expecting big things for them. And yeah, I may do a live stream on Friday. I'm still not 100% sure. But yeah, let us know in the comments how your team's shaping up. What kind of point of differences are you going for? Are you going with a true tried and trusted? Are you going with a Harry Sheasel in defence, whereas I'm just sort of foregoing him? Maybe I've got that one horribly wrong. So yeah, hopefully by now you've locked in your teams. Make sure you do join the code as well. The code obviously was on the right-hand side of the screen. It will be in the video description as well. It's a public league, just a general points thing. I'll even whack in the league. I've still got a few spots free prior to tomorrow or later today when I think you have to have your teams in. Whack them in. Feel free to join. Let us know in the comments what your team's looking like, and I'll see you again very shortly. And if you're here for FPL, I'll be back later today with my top transfer tips for game week 29. Make sure you like the video and subscribe if you're new. That's been FPL, the unit.